the past 8 years, a woman who simply said yes to love has become one of the most hated figures in British media. Not because of crimes, not because of scandal, but because she dared to be visible, vocal, and black. This is not just about Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. This is about the British media machine, about how joy, motherhood, ambition, and authenticity, when embodied by a woman like her, become threatening. Is a case study, a media autopsy. We trace the smear campaign not through speculation, but through their own words. The panel shows, the podcasts, the experts, the satire that isn't satire at all. We ask one question: why does her very existence provoke this much hate? To understand a storm, we begin with a smile. Yes, that smile that shook them all. Welcome to this special edition of Bite-Size News on Majesty Sussex Report.
This one. Did they think twerking like trailer trash teens would endear them to the masses? It's pretty strong, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And one royal commentator suggesting that the late Queen would have been appalled. Yes. What do you think, Nadia? Would she have been appalled?
Well, you know what? This popped up on my Instagram yesterday, and I was feeling a bit down, and it popped up. I thought, oh my God, how joyful somebody! And you know me, I'm obsessed with birth. I had my babies at home. I love hearing other women's birth stories.
You really looked at that and said how joyful.
Yeah, I did.
This is Loose Women, a daytime show where empathy is expected and often sold as its brand. Even joy was up for debate due to Meghan and Harry's video. Nadia Sawalha, one of the few who saw the video for what it was, tender and human. Kay Adams was stunned. You really looked at that and said how joyful? Her tone wasn't curious. It was incredulous. As if black maternal joy were a foreign concept. As if a woman dancing into labor with the man she loves deserves suspicion, not celebration. Then came Kelly Brook, offering the line that has become the blanket justification, the insurance for every British media invasion, every press ambush, every hate-fueled opinion column.
Don't you know what? They've done this, they've done that, they're a royal family, they shouldn't be behaving like. I said, do you know what? I didn't look at them in any way that I just saw two people having a baby, and I thought it was a cute video.
There isn't
it. Well, they get so much trolling, don't they? But do you think that's because they've just wanted to be private for so long, and now obviously she's like launching this business, so she's sharing a lot more of her life, and so it's that kind of contradiction, isn't it?
Don't you think it's that contradiction? That they wanted privacy for so long, and now she's launching this business and sharing more? There it is. The privacy excuse. Weaponized once again, not as inquiry, but accusation. As if asking the press to stop stalking you is the same as demanding invisibility. As if being open about your joy invalidates your right to peace. Meghan and Harry never asked to disappear. They asked for dignity, respect, safety, not to be chased in tunnels or trailed through airports or dehumanized on daily television, creating stories with anonymous sources and selling them as facts. The definition I found for privacy: freedom from unauthorized intrusion. Someone's right to keep their personal matters and relationships secret. The contradiction isn't theirs. It belongs to the critics. It's not that complicated. Nadia posted the video on her social media, for other women to talk about the things they did to get the baby moving. She said people were just giving their stories and then it just turned into this absolute vitriol of hate from people. I was absolutely disgusted. Kay, ever looking for any opportunity to justify the hate, jumped in saying, "Come on now, Nadia. You know how social media works." Nadia, in return, responded, "You did not see what people were saying." Kay dismissed Nadia's alarmed concerns as to say, they deserve it. Then comes the backhanded compliment. I have to say, when I saw the video, she looks like a goddess. An absolute goddess. She moves fantastically, and I just went back to my Kay shared her birthing experience. As Kelly jumped in to add,
it's not relatable, is it? Because women are looking at it like, oh God, even like you giving birth is like Instagrammable and joyous and amazing. Do you ever have a bad day, Meghan? Because everything's so perfect.
Yeah, but like, other people have nice births. I don't understand.
Did you ever
anger?
Could you? No, I'm not angry. I mean, I
you
thought
are
she was
a bit Kay.
No.
Hey, you're coming across a bit angry.
Well, I've got to say, I'm still angry about the hemorrhoids. No, you're
You've
right
never
on
got
that
rid of
one.
them, have you?
Yeah. To be fair, I'm quite attached to them now. I am absolutely not angry, but they're clever people. They know how it works. They knew they would get this response. We cannot pretend that this response.
She's got a business.
I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but I'm just saying, who's surprised at the hate? They absolutely knew they would get this. Now, if they make that decision in that full knowledge, fair play to them. That's entirely up to them. But come on, let's not be surprised.
No, you know what I was? I was depressed because I thought, how can people be that nasty?
Why are you depressed by social media? We know what social media is.
I don't know. I suppose I'm not totally desensitized yet. I couldn't understand it. It was like, these are just two people that are joyful. And actually, lots of people were sharing really lovely ways that they'd got their baby to come. And so, yeah, I got over it 5 minutes later, but I was just like, what a shame.
And there you have it. Everything you need to know or understand about the vitriol Meghan faces, said with a smile and an almost joking tone. But the projection of inadequacy is real. Kelly said, "Do you ever have a bad day, Meghan? Because everything is so perfect." Frankie chimed in with her support on the same lines as Nadia. The discussion between Kay and Nadia about social media adds to why we see the increase in an alarming number of children doing the unthinkable and mental health issues. An extremely important discussion, and because there is laughter infused into the discussion, some miss the messaging being broadcast. White women have always had the space to narrate their motherhood. Meghan's crime? She didn't ask for permission. And that's where we begin. Not with the palace, not with the tabloids, but with a daily talk show hosted by women, targeted mostly to women, with laughter, personal anecdotes, and a good dosage of gatekeeping, stands in judgment. A black biracial woman dancing to a trend to help induce labor, posting the video to celebrate her daughter's now 4 years old. This is how it starts. Not with hate mail, not with headlines, but with the slow, smug smirk of daytime television. There are critiques, and then there are campaigns. Kevin O'Sullivan isn't just a media commentator, he's a crusader. A self-appointed gatekeeper of British decency, with a platform he uses not to report, but to ridicule, bully, and message to his supporters. The type that thinks woke is a virus, and the changing color of the faces in the country is a call to war.
Baby bump or has she strapped it on?
It
Because
looks really weird.
she's got form for strapping on baby bumps. So what do you think as you see it? I think
There's something very wrong with that shape, in my view. I don't know. Look, I'm mesmerised, but I'm kind of. Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, I'm glad the Queen is no longer with us, because oh my Lord, how she would be shuddering at those images. It's so undignified. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but I'm finding that quite uncomfortable.
it
to
is
watch.
uncomfortable. I don't think, because she's done this before for photos, I don't think that is a real baby bump. I
It's
think
way too big. It's way too big.
and sort of too low as well.
Yeah, it's like a metre out there. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks the wrong shape.
I mean, where's she going to give birth there? Through her knees or something? I mean, that is too low. Anyway, so everybody, let me know, is that a real baby bump? Because I don't think it is, and I think Isabel agrees with me. So,
Is that a real baby bump? Or did she strap it on? Not satire, not innuendo. A direct accusation broadcast to millions that a black biracial woman fabricated her pregnancy. Kevin O'Sullivan explicitly questions whether Meghan's pregnant belly was real or strapped on. This crosses from tabloid sensationalism into dangerous conspiracism, invoking years-old racist rumors and body-shaming narratives that attempted to delegitimize black women pregnancies, and it's being done to Meghan. They frame her private moment of joy dancing in the hospital as undignified and revolting, triggering Isabel's comment about being glad the Queen is dead, so she didn't have to witness it. The Queen was alive for a duchess getting her toe sucked by a man that was not her husband. The Queen was alive for the close relationship her family, especially the now King Charles, had with Jimmy Savile. And if you don't know about his crimes, look it up. On the same path we have Andrew's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. She was also alive for the women's sanitary pad conversation between Camilla and Charles. Should I continue? Isabel is casting Meghan's joy as un-British and unfit for public memory. That bump is too big, too low. Where's she going to give birth? Through her knees. This is not journalism. It's an attempt to erase Meghan's humanity, to cast her as artificial, fraudulent, and fundamentally unworthy of maternity or monarchy. Mocking black motherhood as Indecent O'Sullivan repeatedly uses the term twerking to describe Meghan's every movement, and he does it with theatrical disgust. This triggers deeply racialized tropes that paint black women as overly sexual or vulgar for expressing joy or autonomy, especially during pregnancy. Isabel adds that the Queen would be shuddering, casting Meghan's joy as un-British and unfit for public memory. Joy becomes proof of criminality. Expression becomes offense. Presence becomes threat. This fixation with Meghan's belly isn't new. It's the modern face of an ancient suspicion. Can she really be a mother? Does she deserve our trust? Is her body hers to claim? This is not harmless. And if the hate she receives landed on him for one day, he'd cry foul. Like Piers Morgan walking off set, unable to endure even 5 minutes of criticism after years of abuse toward Meghan. After dehumanizing Meghan, the show pivots sharply to anti-migrant rhetoric. O'Sullivan calls Prime Minister Starmer a funny little man, says migrants are so-called refugees, and jokes about puncturing boats before they can cross the channel. Did you hear what I said? This is not normal. We could easily just hop out the patrol car and make a hole in the dinghies. It doesn't really require imagination. This is not normal. None of it is. But Talk Television, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, thinks it's okay. And it seems so does the British public. Explains the riots last summer, where people were ready and willing to burn down hotels with scared migrants' families, with traumatized young children were being held. This is the world order. The Murdoch media empire seems to prefer allegedly.
To every mother across the sun-scorched plains and city canyons, From the quiet village to the bustling shore, you are the unsung rhythm of this world. You who have stretched your bodies, your spirits, your very last time to see a child nourished, a future bloom. You have been back your own hunger, your own fears, to offer a smile, a shield, a sliver of hope.
When hatred becomes habit and cruelty passes for commentary, it stops being journalism. This is Jeremy Kyle and Kinsey Schofield. This is difficult for me. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of sick in my mouth. His offense? A woman dancing, joyfully, vulnerably, while waiting to give birth? But this wasn't about dancing. This was about control. This was about a man, joined by Kinsey Schofield, performing what they do best, turning Meghan's very existence into a public trial. Jeremy Kyle, once the face of tabloid television dressed up as therapy, now finds his place behind a desk peddling royal gossip and venom. But some things haven't changed. The performance of power, the disdain disguised as concern, and the ritual humiliation of those he considers lesser.
Difficult for me. Meghan and Harry, I find this, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of sick in my mouth as I try and describe this, because fresh from repeatedly telling us that they were escaping the United Kingdom because they wanted privacy, they hated the press, they hated everything to be involved in the intrusion in their lives, and then they had their little children and the feral children, and they left them with the chickens, and all she does now with her jams that are crap is post pictures of her children left, right and centre, which has me always thinking, well, hold on a second, you duplicitous woman, how does that make any sense? But we've now reached a point where I possibly am going to be sick live on the television. Meghan Markle has posted a cringy video of her and Prince Harry dancing in a hospital room. This is we're playing it. She's waiting for she's twerking with the baby to try and make the baby come. This is to induce Elizabeth's birth. She's dancing in front of the camera. Oh God, it looks like a lap dancing club with pregnant women. He's also dancing in front of the camera. She's got a black dress on. She's literally holding her bump and twerking, and she's put this on social media. The woman is that's getting worse now. She looks like she's performing.
Well, and look, JK, the lyrics are prego, but I'm still doing moves like Beyonce. Yeah, I said I'm pregnant. Get the child support and pay my rent. Your opinion is irrelevant because I'm a baby mama. I can do what I wanna. That is the song she's dancing to about getting that child support.
Sorry, you got it. I'm sorry. The greatest moment in British. Just do that. Just do that again.
Then came the part that can't be dismissed as humor. Their little children, feral children, left with the chickens. Feral? That's what Jeremy Kyle called the Sussex children he's never met. Children who are biracial. Children who have already been dehumanized before they could speak. Let's be clear. Feral is not commentary. It's a racist dog whistle. It's the same colonial trope that saw black and brown children depicted as wild, unkempt, lesser, and now, in 2025, it rolls off a British host's tongue with ease, as if these children are not deserving of innocence, softness, or dignity. Let that sink in. Princess Lilibet, who just celebrated her 4th birthday, was just described as feral on national TV while her mother was shamed for dancing. Kyle continues, saying Meghan looked like she was in a lap dancing club, mocking her dress, her bump, her choice to move her body in joy. They even read the lyrics of the song, and for two people claiming to be intelligent, completely forgot to include context, which explains everything. But that would not support the narrative, the image they are painting for you. And at the heart of all this, the obsession with privacy, They said they wanted privacy, Kyle growled, and now she's sharing everything. But that's not what Harry and Meghan said. They asked for boundaries. They asked for respect. They asked not to be hunted by tabloids, and instead, they got this. This wasn't commentary. It was desecration. Jeremy Kyle didn't just insult Meghan. He humiliated a mother in labor. He mocked a father. And he dehumanized two children because their mother dared to show joy. It looks like a lap dancing club with pregnant women, Kyle said as Kinsey giggled in agreement. She's twerking in a black dress, with the bump, he continued, painting her maternity dance as vulgarity, as offensive, as a performance. They reduced her body and her joy to a punchline. They invoked South Park. They shouted privacy. They pulled every dusty insult from the shelf. Nobody cares about your jam. Shut the hell up. Oversharing. Fake brand. And hurled them like tomatoes in a public square. Jeremy Kyle and Kinsey didn't just attack a woman, they performed a ritual. The same ritual Meghan has endured for 8 years. Reduce her choices to spectacle. Label her as manipulative, performative, or narcissistic. Twist joy into indecency. Rewrite the word privacy as permanent exile. And the audience? They're not just viewers. They're jurors constantly nudged to disbelieve her, dislike her, distrust her. Kinsey rants along saying, she had the chance to be elegant, elusive, powerful, but instead she gave it all away. Oversharing, oversharing, oversharing. But perhaps the question isn't why or if Meghan shared too much. It's why they feel so entitled to silence her. There's no journalistic inquiry here. No critique of substance. Just entertainment rooted in cruelty, performative outrage masquerading as commentary. And remember, this is the same Jeremy Kyle whose original television show was canceled after a guest took their life, a program long criticized for public shaming and exploitation. And yet, here he is again, this time with the first black biracial member of the royal family and her children, a prince and princess. And the crown said nothing. Should we call the Wales children the same? Vanessa Feltz opened her segment with a question that dripped with suspicion. Is this tasteful, appropriate? And just like that, Meghan's private dance during labor, a joyful, personal, cultural expression, became public evidence. Not of joy, but of judgment. Vanessa, surrounded by a panel of mostly white voices, framed the clip as uncomfortable. Callers chimed in. One wondered if the bump was real. Another said she couldn't imagine a real woman acting like that. What they were policing wasn't just behavior, it was identity. It was emotion. It was freedom. What they were really saying was this: a woman like that doesn't get to express joy. A black woman dancing, laughing, celebrating life must have an angle. A bump like that can't be real. A marriage like that must be fake. Vanessa didn't stop the spiral. She gave it air. She curated it. And in doing so, her show became another forum for the same old script. Control the narrative. Punish the joy. Question the motherhood. Let's not forget, it was on a show like this where public opinion was shaped around the way Meghan walked, sat, ate, hugged her belly, looked at Harry. Every act of presence repackaged as arrogance. Every act of joy twisted into manipulation. This isn't about taste. It's about permission. And Meghan has always been denied it.
Family for us all to have a good laugh.
Yeah.
So,
Including very heavily pregnant in the delivery suite?
No, not in the delivery suite, because she had a bit of a bad time to having the baby. But I mean, I think people should leave them alone and let them get on with what they're doing. That's probably, she was nervous. She was probably taking a bit of strain off her and, trying to make light of the situation, because having a child is very difficult for anybody.
Absolutely. But when you say, people should leave them alone and let them get on with it, that's not what social media is for. You don't post because you just want everyone to leave you alone. You post because, as Melinda says, you're reaching out to say something or other. Now, you might just be saying, as Melinda very generously and sweetly says, I went through this, you might have been through this, we're all human, let's all relate to each other. Or you might be saying, you think that I'm posh and stuck up and privileged, but actually I'm just like you, I'm an ordinary person, buy my jam. You might be trying to, you might be trying to rebrand yourself. But the one thing you're not doing, Yvonne, is saying, leave me alone and let me get on with it. That's not what you're doing. If you want that, you don't post. You don't need to post, do you?
Yeah, but probably not. But I think people, because there's a lot of nasty comments out there, and they're only human like the rest of us. Keep your nastiness to yourself.
Well, that's a worthwhile thing to say. Keep your nastiness to yourself. Quite right. Agree with that. Let's go to Donna in London. Donna, you're fine with this. Did you enjoy watching it?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
It was lovely. It was really nice to see. I don't know why everybody's having such a hissy. She's in labour. She's in her room. It's her and her husband. Actually, at that time, that song, the Baby Mama song,
yes,
it was a trend where a lot of pregnant women were doing exactly the same thing that Meghan's doing. She's decided to share it.
Mm-hmm.
I know they know the backlash they're going to get. And at this point, I think they don't actually care. And I'm actually 100% behind them not to give a damn about anybody else. Get on with your life. They're no longer working royals. They're no longer in England. They're just doing their thing. I think people need to just give them a break.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Donna. Let me ask you something just for you. Melinda said everyone must be... Yeah, question for you. Everyone must be nice and only say something if it's nice. Is that why you're not mentioning Prince Harry's dancing? And I say dancing in inverted commas. Is that why? Because you're so nice you can't mention it?
He's cute.
No, he actually done quite well. I'm going to say that he's done quite well.
Donna.
I'm with Donna.
Some good moves there.
Look, he's done quite well. But I think that they're just having a little moment, and it's really, really, who is it harming? Nobody.
Oh, I mean, everyone should be nice to everyone, and this is meant to be a show where we all feel very jolly at the end of it, but he's a good dancer. Michelle, come on.
Oh, do you know what, though? I mean, I've got a husband who has 2 peg legs, so he's actually really good compared to Hughie. Sorry, Hughie, I love you, darling.
He's got moves.
He's got moves.
Yes.
And it's a style, isn't it? It's a particular style he was going for.
Certain kind of style.
It's like he's cut out of cardboard, and it's absolutely shocking. All right, not that I don't love him, but honestly.
But a few voices broke through. Women, black, working class, grounded in real life, called in. And they said what many feel. I think people should leave them alone. She was probably trying to make light of the situation. They reminded the UK press of something long forgotten: humanity. It was lovely, a beautiful moment. People need to give them a break. They're not working royals. They're not in England. Let them live. These weren't PR reps or palace loyalists. These were mothers, real women, and they saw through the noise. That's why you're not mentioning Prince Harry's dancing? Because you're too nice? Even that, they handled with grace. Because joy doesn't need permission. It needs protection. This is what love looks like. And some of us still know how to recognize it.
Morning, friends. Happy Sunday. How are you doing? We had a week of twerking, then Disney. Meghan's gone global again, broke the internet without even trying. The media coverage all over the globe about Meghan, Harry, the children, Meghan's multiple businesses. She's a prolific investor in other female founders. Businesses literally cannot pay for this type of global coverage. But Meghan's put herself, her family, and her businesses, and as ever, back in the media spotlight, and the media are just lapping this stuff up. It's driving revenue, it's driving interest, it's driving clicks for the media, and clicks are how the digital media businesses have to survive in 2025. Meghan's at the top of the digital media all over the UK. The other side of the non-working family are literally nowhere to be seen. Get to the point, Martin. What does Meghan think about the backlash, if the backlash is the right word? Not everybody liked the video. Not everybody liked the Disney activity. The global focus on her brand and her businesses is all Meghan is bothered about. And I totally agree with her. People are interested in her story, in her family, in her journey. That elevates her businesses. It's gone down brilliantly in the US, which is her main target market for us ever. What is there to cry about? The British digital media are full of jealousy. They wish they could have this type of exposure for their own brand. Meghan does it naturally, gracefully, and without even thinking. She's a winner. If you're clever and you're rational and you can process information, you understand Meghan. If you are none of those things, you'll never get her. Don't even try. Comments are open as ever. Have a brilliant Sunday. Let me know what you think.
You mean to tell me that Harry, Meghan, Archie and Lily were at the most popular family destination on earth and no one saw them? That's not luck. That is power and that is planning. Privacy is possible. You just have to want it more than press clout. And obviously, none of this was leaked until Meghan decided to share on her own Instagram. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the very definition of privacy. When you share things on your own terms. Privacy doesn't mean that you're never heard of, that you have to disappear. I've got to give it to Harry and Meghan. Very well done. And it looks like Archie and Lily had an amazing time.
His reaction. Just question the wisdom in releasing this to the public.
I don't know. It's just so normal.
I know. For once, I actually felt like
on.
Meghan was relatable. A woman that I don't think most women find.
I mean, it's
that
easy
relatable.
for me to say from afar, but I would say get over yourselves. Like, you know,
What, Meghan and Harry?
No,
the UK generally.
The UK press. You know, I'm livid. I'm livid. I mean, the late Queen did used to say, never complain, never revive. I mean, it's not the 1800s. Come on. I mean, everyone's using social media. I just feel like we should celebrate people being themselves. And if
they want to be relevant.
Like, so be it. No?
What
What's next for the Sussexes?
I like them more this week, I got to say. I think we've hammered that home, that we're kind of on board with this. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall when King Charles first laid eyes on
clear about what we've just witnessed. A black woman pregnant, joyful, and deeply loved her to be seen in one of the most private, vulnerable, and powerful moments of her life. And what did the British media do? They mocked her. They questioned her body. They called her undignified. They suggested her child should be denied royal status because of a dance. A dance. Meanwhile, these same media institutions overlooked the king's grotesque tampon tapes, overlooked Prince Andrew's hush money settlement for the sexual abuse of a minor, and overlooked the grotesque friendship with a pedophile named Jimmy Savile. These are not footnotes. These are rotting roots. But none of those men ever had to prove their dignity. Meghan Markle donned, still do us simply for existing while black. Let's talk about black women's healthcare for a moment. Because when a woman is in labor, dancing is not scandalous survival. It's breathing through pain. It's reclaiming the body from a medical system that often disregards black women's pain, undermedicates their suffering, and too often buries them in silence. Black women in the UK are 4 times more likely to die in childbirth. You want to talk about dignity? Start there. And when a black woman, full of life and vulnerability, dares to share joy, she is labeled attention-seeking. When she stays silent, she is accused of being cold. When she protects her peace, she is called manipulative. When she shows love, she is mocked. The rules of decorum are never written for black women to win, because at the heart of this, not pretendus, not about royal protocols or TikTok trends, it's about what society permits black women to do, to feel, and to show. And the UK media has become the pulpit from which cruelty is preached, and the scapegoat is always her. This was never about privacy. It was always about punishment. Punishment for not conforming. Punishment for marrying into whiteness and refusing to disappear. Punishment for surviving joyfully in a world that demands black women be silent, grateful, and small. And so I ask, what kind of country, what kind of media demands the tears of a black mother to feel morally upright? This scandal they've manufactured? It isn't about Meghan dancing. It's about who they believe deserves dignity and who never will. The British press has declared war on joy, on motherhood, on healing, because it came from a woman they were never meant to bow to. But we see it now, and we will not unsee it.